Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Donna Richards. I have a teaching tip for parents and homeschoolers. Today, I want to help you get your point across. Sometimes that's just not that easy. It's in your brain, but when you're trying to get it across to your child's brain, that's a little more difficult. So let me talk to you about your child's brain. When you study the brain, and we're not going to go into it in great detail, but when you study the brain, you're going to see that there are segments of the brain that are responsible for various activities that we do. For instance, there's a segment of the brain that is largely responsible for our vision. There's a segment of the brain that is largely responsible for our hearing. There's one for tactile experiences. There's one for smell. So we have all these parts of the brain that are largely responsible for various experiences that we have. And then, of course, they all interrelate with each other in a marvelous, miraculous manner. So how can we get that whole brain to be working at the same time? Well, you'll often find when you're teaching or when you're working with someone is you'll think of the thing that works best for you. And so you'll maybe show somebody something on a piece of paper, or maybe you're really good at verbalizing, so you may verbalize something. But what we want to do as teachers is we want to use all those elements, the visual element, the auditory element, the tactile element. We want to use as many of those as we can so that your whole brain, all of those elements that are responsible for various experiences will be working at the same time. So we want to try to do things that are visual, things that are auditory, things that are tactile even when we're teaching. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're working with, let's do grade 1. And let's say you're working with addition and it's not coming easy. And you've said for the 10th time, 2 plus 5 is 7. And your child just isn't getting that. And that would be a good time to pull out something tactile. It can be anything. And allow your child to feel what you're talking about, because then that part of the brain is becoming more responsive, the part that's responsible for tactile things. Then, if you add the tactile, when the child has felt them, to something visual, where you're writing down the answer and saying the words at the same time, then you've got tactile, visual, and auditory. So all three parts that are big responsibility parts of the brain are being fired to consider that activity. So what I'm saying to you is, as much as you can, whenever possible, use all of the senses in first teaching a lesson, and then give those same opportunities for the student to use them. So when you've explained your lesson, then give opportunities for the child, the student, to use visual, tactile, auditory elements in producing the material that you want them to produce in order to express their learning. Does that make sense to you? We're trying to use the whole brain to teach them, and the whole brain for them to express that learning. Well, I hope that's been helpful. I'll talk to you again next time. Bye for now.